Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it.
What's up, you guys? Michelle here. It's the Calm Mom Podcast. If you guys are listening to this in real time, it is Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to you guys and your families. Honestly, just wishing you such a special holiday season full of so many beautiful memories and lots of snuggles by the Christmas tree and all the good food and, all the joy and all the laughter and all of the wonderful things about the holidays. Today on the show, I thought it would be awesome to talk about signs of a healthy nervous system. I think so often we can focus on what the symptoms of a dysregulated nervous system and then what we should do to help us feel better. But once we start taking action on these things and we're incorporating these regulation resources and these body-based tools and our habits are getting healthier, I think it's really awesome to start to talk about what a healthy nervous system feels like, right? And how to recognize when those signs of balance and resilience start showing up, because I think they can be subtle. And then we can get discouraged, I think, and not really see the growth that's happening and not really see the progress that we're making. And it's so important that we celebrate all of these wins along the way, because this really is a journey, right? It's never a destination. We're never perfectly grounded or calm or peaceful. That's just not how real life happens. But there's a spectrum. And as we're moving along in that journey, it's really important to experience and celebrate and notice the wins. So that's what we're going to do today. I know so many of you guys are here because you're in seasons or you've been in seasons where you feel like you're stuck in cycles of stress or dysregulation, or you're not even sure what quote unquote healthy, quote unquote energized, quote unquote calm, even feels like. Maybe that feels like that's been so far away. So I want to just take a moment in this episode and we're just going to highlight 5 indicators, 5 hey, heads up, high five of a well-regulated nervous system to help you guys recognize and then work toward these signs. I think sometimes there's things we want to move away from, but it's also really important to have things that we want to move toward too, right? What is the goal? How do I want to feel in my life? So let's talk about it. Okay, I want to start with just this broad overview of what it even means to be regulated and have a healthy nervous system. Because we know our body's nervous system is this network, right? And it's constantly communicating between our brain and all of our organs and everything else in our body. And it's managing our responses to everything that we do or have to do, or stress, right? Chronic stress, little stressors every day, big, massive traumas. All of these things are managed by our nervous system. And our nervous system is constantly shifting between these different states depending on what we need, right? Our nervous system, a healthy nervous system, a regulated nervous system, is actually a flexible nervous system. And what I mean by that is that a flexible, healthy nervous system can shift between states as necessary. So you can shift from being calm to being alert if you need to be alert, but then you also can shift back to being calm after that threat has passed, right? After you've given the big speech or, helped your daughter not fall down the stairs or whatever it is, right? It can shift from feeling really energized and getting stuff done all morning to then being able to actually rest and recharge in the afternoon and not getting stuck in either state. That's a healthy nervous system. That's a regulated, flexible nervous system. You're able to respond to the needs of the moment, Regulation doesn't mean you're calm all the time, you guys. I hate to break it to you, but it's true. A regulated nervous system isn't calm all the time. That's not actually healthy. There are times where we need to adapt to have more energy, right? To be in fight or flight because we actually need to run or we need to do something in order to stay safe and do what we've got to do and protect ourselves and our people. But it's when we get stuck in those states that we become dysregulated, right? So a healthy nervous system isn't being regulated all the time. It's being adaptive and it's being resilient. When we're dysregulated, we're stuck. We're stuck in one of those heightened states, right? We're stuck in fight or flight or freeze or fawn. And it's really hard for our body to stand down. It's really hard to recover from stress. It's really hard to feel safe, to relax and not be like in that state of anxiety and worry and ruminating and looping thoughts and just like stress, going, busy, and return to balance. It's really hard to do that when we're dysregulated. So when we're regulated, we're just flexible, right? We can go up, we can handle whatever life throws at us, ups and downs. But a dysregulated nervous system struggles to reset. It gets stuck, right? So we want the flexibility. That's the key to expanding our capacity. That's the key to being resilient. That's really the key to well-being. Okay, so let's talk about how a healthy nervous system is designed to function a little bit. And then let's talk through these 5 signs of a healthy nervous system. So we want natural flexibility. We want resilience. We want a nervous system that's dynamic. And it's just kind of moving fluidly between these states based on external demands, right? Like the things going on around us, dealing with stress, dealing with things that are happening at the kids' school, the after school programs, things that are happening at work, things that are happening in my marriage, right? And our internal needs, rest, connection, joy, all of these different things. After we experience stress, because stress is inevitable to a certain extent, right? Yes, there are stressors that we can eliminate. Yes, there are stressors that we can delegate, but life's going to keep on lifing, you guys. There's no escaping it. So we want a nervous system that can deal with stress and recover quickly from stress and come back to this baseline state of calmness rather than getting stuck in a super activated state or a shutdown mode. Okay. So, when you're regulated, when you're feeling, or when your nervous system is in a healthy state, you have those moments where you feel like you can handle stuff really well without getting overwhelmed, right? You've had seasons in your life where you've been able to rest without feeling guilty about it. You've had seasons in your life where you felt, or days, right, where you felt really present and engaged and grounded with the people in your life. Those are all symptoms of a healthy nervous system. Those are all signs that your nervous system is healthy. It's functioning as it's designed. It's adapting, right? And it's giving you the sense of safety and connection, both for yourself and then our social nervous system, right? So the people around you. All right, so let's go through these 5 signs of a healthy nervous system. In each sign, the 5 that we're going to go through, I want to tell you guys, 1, how it feels, because I think sometimes we can have an aha moment like, oh yeah, I remember like whatever. For me, it's like, I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was like freaking out. I had so much peace when everything started closing down. And it's because at my law firm, I didn't realize how much stress I was under of just like everyone needing everything from me all the time, right? When you're in the practice of law, especially litigation, and some of you probably have, this scenario or other demanding jobs where like people only come to you when things are going really wrong and they're in a state of panic and they're freaking out and they want you to fix it right now. Like I didn't realize how much dysregulation that was causing me. So when my office closed and I had like an automatic reply that was like, hey, in light of like the pandemic and everything shutting down, our office is, going offline until further notice while everyone starts to figure stuff out. You can, and no one's like really worried about their legal issues right then. They're like dealing with other stuff. My body like just relaxed in a way that I hadn't experienced in probably decades, right? And I remember waking up in the mornings and just feeling so like open and energized. And I was like nourishing my body really well. And I was sleeping really well. And I was playing with my kids and I was being present and I wasn't tied to my phone and I wasn't checking emails all day. And like all these different things. I remember how good that felt. And when you're in a healthy nervous system, I think it's important to understand like how that feels so you guys can think back. Maybe it was a long time ago, maybe it was yesterday, but just moments where you experienced something similar as this like, oh, that's because my nervous system was actually regulating in that moment. So sign number 1 of a healthy nervous system is that you feel at peace in your body. You just feel at peace. You feel at home in your body. It's this sense of being embodied, and for that to feel safe, right? You experience this kind of general sense of just like calmness and ease in your body. Your muscles are not clenched, right? They're like relaxed. Your breathing isn't shallow and quick, but it's natural and it's slow and it's rhythmic and it's deep. And there's just a sense of like safety and being present with yourself. I was emailing back and forth with one of you, so someone in our audience today actually, and she was telling me like, she's like, I'm a single mom. I work in a really demanding career in tech. And I've just been like, I cannot like slow down. Like I'm just constantly doing stuff. And if I'm not, and I try to, like, I can't let stuff go. The ruminating thoughts are going crazy. And I was just responding to her and I'm like, holy one, that's a lot and it's exhausting. And I know because I've been there. And I remember seasons in my life where I was really dysregulated and it almost felt, and I don't know if any of you can relate to this or if this is going to even make any sense. It's almost like one of those things that's hard to describe, but I felt like I just wanted to crawl out of my skin. Like I was so anxious and so exhausted and so miserable and so tired that there were moments where I just wanted to like crawl out of my skin. Like I wish I could just separate from this body, right? That is the opposite of feeling healthy in your nervous system. When a sign of a healthy nervous system, this sign feeling at peace in your body is the opposite of that. You feel at home in your body. It feels like a good place to be. It feels like a place where you want to operate from, not a place you want to crawl out from. So if you remember feeling at peace in your body, or you want to feel at peace in your body, that is something to work toward in learning how to regulate your nervous system. Okay, the second sign of a healthy nervous system is that you're able to comfortably rest without guilt. This is such a big one for us moms because there's just so much stuff to do. And I feel you with that. But guys, rest, recharging, re-energizing, it has the greatest ROI, and we're just not taking advantage of it because we're stuck again in fight or flight, and it doesn't feel safe to rest, right? Something bad is going to happen. We have unconscious stories around rest, what it means to be lazy or relaxed, or all of these different things, right? But when your nervous system is regulated, you guys, you can take time to rest. You can take time to relax and recharge without feeling like you need to justify it or catch up later or earn it, right? Your rest starts to feel restorative rather than something that you have to earn. That's a big, big part of it. Because a dysregulated nervous system, one of the first signs that I see when women are dysregulated is that they really struggle to rest, right? They're stuck in this constant state of busyness. They're doing stuff all the time, right? And if they slow down, one, it's either so uncomfortable that they're miserable, or two, they feel really guilty about quote unquote doing nothing, right? Which isn't doing nothing. It's actually resting and recharging. It's kind of like this slingshot. We pull back so we can shoot forward so much more efficiently, so much more creatively, so much more effectively, right? So much more passionately. It's awesome. But we have to be able to do it without guilt. And we can do that when we're regulated. So I don't know if you guys have a small daily like rest ritual, right? Maybe you start your day slowly, right? And that feels really restful. That's something that I've really incorporated the last few years. Maybe you have, I've started taking like my word of the year this year is rest. You guys have probably heard me talk about that. I choose a word of the year every year. I've chosen accelerate. I've chosen boldness. I've chosen joy. And this year is the year of rest. And guys, I've been like taking naps. Like I used to be someone who could never nap. And maybe you're like, yeah, that's me. I just can't nap. Like I lay there and I drive myself crazy just thinking of all the stuff I have to do. That was me for so long. And I'm learning. I'm teaching my body that it's safe to rest, that it's good to rest, that this is actually the most productive thing I can do right now if I'm feeling tired at 2 p.m. is go up in my room and play some brown noise and read a really boring book and pass out for like 25 minutes and wake up. And then like, I feel so good the rest of the day, right? I'm so productive after that. I can be present with my kids. But it's something I've had to really intentionally work toward feeling safe in my body doing. And over time, you'll be able to strengthen your comfort with relaxation. So that's number 2. You're able to comfortably rest without guilt. How good does that sound? And then number 3, the third sign of a healthy nervous system is that you guys start to have a space between stimulus and response. What do I mean by that? I mean that a sign of a healthy nervous system is that you're not as reactive. You're not as reactive, right? You have that ability to pause and consider and respond from a place of intentionality rather than just like, reacting, right? Reacting impulsively, reacting without thinking, reacting and saying something that you regret, right? Reacting and yelling when that's not the best way to respond to what's going on. There's a natural space there between what happens and how you respond. And when you're living in fight or flight, that space is like non-existent. But the more that you learn how to create space and regulate your nervous system and put into practice the things that I teach inside of Burnout Recovery Blueprint here on the podcast, you actually grow that space. You grow that space between stimulus and response. That is a hallmark of a regulated nervous system. Because when we're dysregulated, you guys, we are living on the edge of our bandwidth. We are living on the edge of our window of tolerance. And it just takes one little trigger, right? One little comment from our kids, one little like side eye from our husband, one email from someone at work, right? And bam, we're triggered because we're so close to the edge of our capacity, our window of tolerance, right? It's small little things put us over the edge and then bam, we're reacting without even that ability to pause. So if this is like really hitting home for you, especially this reaction one, man, I just encourage you and I just invite you to make learning how to regulate your nervous system a priority in the new year, right? Prioritize this. Prioritize putting this into practice. If you're not even sure what that means, prioritize learning more about it, right? Burnout Recovery Blueprint, our group program, it starts in the middle of January. If you want to know more about it, if you want to jump on board, if you want to invest in yourself and your family in this way, right? I think it would be a really, really powerful, like, stake in the ground to be like, hey, I'm going to do something about this, right? I'm worth it. And so is my family. And I'm going to learn. I want to be a woman who feels at peace in her body, right? I want to be a woman who can be comfortable resting without guilt. I'm a woman, right? Who has space between stimulus and response. And then the other 2 things that we're going to go through, right? So there's a link in the show notes to jump on the wait list for Burnout Recovery Blueprint. If you guys want to do that, there's no commitment per se, but I'll send you an email with more information about the program. I created like a brochure and a short little video that I recorded that you guys can watch as I walk through all the details. And then if it feels aligned for you, I can send you the link and you can save your spot early. And by doing that, you'll actually get significant savings and you'll have access to special bonuses. So if that feels aligned as I'm going through this and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to learn this. Like I want to invest the time and the energy and the bandwidth and the finances to learn this because I know it's going to pay off for literally the rest of my life, right? Raising my kids. I want to do this now while they're young before they're older. And we have all these, this time has passed, right? It's like now is the time to do this stuff. Jump on that wait list for the Burnout Recovery Blueprint. I'll just send you more information so you can check it out. Okay, so number 4, the 4th sign of a healthy nervous system is that you're able to communicate and hold healthy boundaries. A dysregulated nervous system is stuck in people pleasing. It's stuck in perfectionism. It's stuck in not being able to communicate in a healthy way. It's being stuck in low self-worth. So we're not even thinking that we're worthy of having these boundaries and taking responsibility for our bandwidth and our attention and our behavior and how other people are with us in relationships, right? Like when we have a well-regulated nervous system, you're able to actually set and assert boundaries in this beautiful, clear, and respectful way. You're able to say no when it's necessary, right? You're able to feel secure in your limitations and your bandwidth and saying, hey, I appreciate the invitation, but I'm not going to be able to do that in this season. Or, hey, I appreciate the invitation, but I'm not going to be able to attend this year. Or, hey, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not going to be able to be the room mom or handle the coordination of all the events or, all the things that we say yes to in our personal and professional lives because we think it's what we're supposed to be doing and it makes us a good mom. And, whatever it is that drives us straight to burnout. And we're able to say no to these things when necessary with undue stress, i.e. not feeling bad about it when we're regulated. Because when we're dysregulated, we're stuck overcommitting. We avoid setting boundaries because of what? Discomfort, fear of conflict, all these different things. But when we have access to the parts of our brain that we do when we're regulated, our prefrontal cortex, we just see the world differently, you guys, and we're empowered to respond to it differently. Okay, and then the last one, the fifth sign of a regulated nervous system, of a healthy nervous system, is that you can respond to life stress without becoming dysregulated. When you are regulated, you have this huge, expanded, wide capacity, right? I just think about my life over the last 10-ish years, right? In the last few years, I think about all the roles that I've had. I managed a law firm, right? A very busy 7-figure law firm with myself and a small team. And that ran, right? Beautifully. I ran this podcast. I ran the coaching business with a group program and one-on-one clients at capacity. Like I cannot take on any more one-on-one clients. I am completely booked. I raised my kids, right? My husband and I planted a church, guys. We pastored a church that had a full staff and Sunday ministries and writing sermons and giving messages and pastoring people and all the midweek ministries and like having a team and everything that comes along with that, all these different things. And I don't say any of that to like toot my own horn. I say it because there's practices that I've had in place and things that I've learned that have allowed my capacity to expand, to hold all of that without becoming dysregulated, without the stress of my life taking over my whole body or my mind, right? I've learned how to regulate my nervous system. You can learn it too. It's not like this secret thing that I know how to do. It's why I'm so passionate about talking about it and teaching it to you guys. Because when you're regulated, you can handle life's challenges. You can feel the emotions and know what to do with them, but they don't take up like free rent in your head, right? You know how to release them. You know how to move forward without all of these like lingering side effects. A dysregulated nervous system, you guys, gets overwhelmed by the smallest things. Like you probably don't have to think back. If you're dysregulated right now, you probably don't have to think long and hard about something small that you like either overreacted to or are avoiding or just feels so big and overwhelming to you, because that's what happens when we're dysregulated and when we're burnt out. Small things feel really big and overwhelming. Our capacity has shrunk, right? We have no capacity. We're at max capacity and it's not a good place to be. And that leads us to feeling anxious and overthinking things. And then we start to shut down because it's just too much for our body. It's too much for our nervous system. So if you want to learn how to grow your capacity so you can handle life's stresses, because as I say, life's going to keep on lifing, right? There are certain things that are just going to happen in life, right? It's life. But we want to be able to respond to those things without it like sending us over the deep end, right? Into the deep end, over the edge. So what can we do? I think the biggest thing is really start to incorporate daily somatic practices, right? You guys, we experience stress daily. We should release stress daily. We experience stress. We've got to release it. Experience it, right? It comes in, it goes out, just like everything else in our being. The food we eat comes in and out. The things we drink, in and out. The air we breathe, in and out. The same thing is true with stress. If we experience stress daily, we've got to have daily practices to release that stress from our body, right? So having those tools, having those somatic practices, that is what will help you bring you back into the present when things start to feel a little wonky and help you stay centered in and out of the moments of stress. So those are the 5, you guys. Feeling at peace in your body, resting without guilt, having space between stimulus and response, not being so reactive, communicating and holding healthy boundaries, and responding flexibly to stress. I mean, how good does that sound, you guys? It sounds amazing. It's so empowering. It's the place we all want to operate from. And I want to tell you, it's attainable. right? And it doesn't require this massive, overwhelming overhaul. I want to just teach you those small, consistent daily practices that make such a big difference over time. I want to teach you healthy coping mechanisms for stress, right? I want to teach you what to do with your emotions. I want to teach you how to go from surviving to thriving. I want to teach you all of these different somatic tools to regulate your nervous system in the moment. So if you're curious and if you want to know more about joining our January cohort of the Burnout Recovery Blueprint, go ahead, jump on the wait list. The link is in the show notes. It's your super simple Google form I created for you guys. Throw your name and your email on there. I will personally respond to you. If you don't see anything from me in the next day or so, 2 days maybe, max, check your junk because sometimes my responses will go to your spam if you haven't marked my email address as safe yet. But I'll just send you more information. I'll send you a brochure, all of the details there. And then if you want to jump in early and take advantage of the savings for the early birds, I think that's a good place to start. All right. Thanks for being with me today. Thanks for learning what a balanced nervous system looks like. It gives us this aim, this goal, this thing we're working toward. It's so encouraging and motivating. I love it so much. So thanks for being with me on this journey. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.